Triangle is a three-sided polygon with three sides, three vertices, and three angles. And when we want to name a triangle, we can use all three vertices in the name in any order. And there's a little shorthand notation for triangle. Instead of writing out the word, we can just draw a little picture of a triangle and then the name. The sides are line segments, so if we want to name the sides, we just name them like any other line segment. So for this triangle, the sides would be segment AB, segment BC, and segment CA. The vertices are just the corners, so that's point A, point B, and point C, and then the angles are the same name as the vertices, angle A, angle B, and angle C. Each angle has a side that's opposite it, so if we look at angle C, for instance, right here, the side that's opposite it is across the triangle, and it's the only side that doesn't actually touch that corner, so that would be side AB. For angle B, the side that's not touching point B is side AC. And then for angle A, the side that is across the triangle from that is side BC. When we look at the angles in a triangle, there are 4 different types of triangles that we can have depending on what the angles are. There is an equiangular triangle. That's where all the angles are equal. We can have an acute triangle where the angles might be different, but they're all acute or less than 90 degrees. An obtuse triangle is one where one angle is obtuse or greater than 90 degrees. And then a right triangle is a triangle with one right angle. A right triangle has special names for its sides. So there is one right angle in a right triangle, and the two sides of the triangle that form the right angle are called the legs. And then the third side, the one that's opposite the 90-degree angle and also the longest side, is called the hypotenuse. We can also classify triangles by looking at their sides. So an equilateral triangle is a triangle where all 3 sides are equal. And it just happens that every equilateral triangle is also equiangular and vice versa. So if you have an equiangular triangle, it has to be equilateral as well. A scalene triangle is a triangle where no 2 sides are equal. And an isosceles triangle is one where 2 sides are equal. An isosceles triangle has a lot of different names for its parts. There's specific names for the sides and the angles. So the 2 sides in an isosceles triangle that are equal to each other are called the legs. And then the third side, the one that's not equal to the others, is called the base. Now at the end of the base on each side are 2 angles. Those are called the base angles. And in an isosceles triangle, these angles are congruent to each other. They are also opposite the legs, so if you're trying to figure out which angles are the same in an isosceles triangle, you can just look at the 2 angles that are opposite the 2 legs. The third angle is called the vertex angle, and it won't be congruent to the other angles. In my first example, I have triangle PQR, and it is an equilateral triangle. One side measures 2x plus 5 and another measures x plus 35, and we want to find the measure of each side. Well, there's no picture, so we should start off by drawing triangle PQR, which is equilateral. So we'll just draw an equilateral triangle. And we'll name it PQR. And then since all the sides are the same, it doesn't matter that the problem didn't tell us which side is 2x plus 5, so we can just put it on any side we want. And then we'll put x plus 35 on some other side. Well, since it's an equilateral triangle, these two sides are equal to each other, so we can just set up an equation stating that they are equal. So we can say 2x plus 5 equals x plus 35. And solve from there, so we get that x equals 30. And it says find the measure of each side, so we can just plug it into one of the sides. X plus 35 seems easiest, so this side here, if I plug in 30 for x, will be 65. And that's what all the sides are since they are all equal to each other. In my second example, I have an isosceles triangle, and I do have the picture provided. I have the two congruent sides marked congruent and then labeled with some expressions. And I also have the base labeled with x. And I want to find the perimeter of this triangle. So the first thing I want to do is find x, and I'm going to do that by setting the two congruent sides equal to each other. And I'm not going to worry about the x that's on the base for right now. So I will just say that 4x minus 14 equals x plus 10. And so x equals 8. And now to find the perimeter, I'll just find the length of each side by plugging 8 in for x. So this side here is 18, and this side is also 18, and then this side is 8. So the perimeter will be 8 plus 18 plus 18, which will give us 44.